What's up, everybody? It's the Tabletop Tyrant here with a lore breakdown, introduction, if you will, to the faction of Bretonnia. So, I've recorded this about 4 different times, and I cannot get it to stop sounding boring. The book was written in Old English, the army book, in the beginning, and I've discerned it into this, but I'm going to tell it a little bit more upbeat because it's just more in line with who I am. So, without further ado, the Kingdom of Bretonnia. Such a title to befit its great people and lands. The Kingdom of Bretonnia is located in between the Grey Mountains and the Great Ocean. This kingdom has 2 major values: maintaining and upholding the strict code of chivalry, and the worship of the Lady of the Lake. These fine people are divided into 2 classes: the common peasantry, the one you don't want to be a part of, and the knightly caste, the one that you most likely want to be a part of. The Kingdom of Bretonnia is ruled by a monarchy. That monarch has the title of Royarch. The Royarch and their knightly caste sort of make it their duty to serve the Lady of the Lake with honor, pride, and of course, chivalry. These knights of Bretonnia will not rest while evil besets their gorgeous lands, nor will they slow until they have died in glorious service to their lady and their land. The Kingdom of Bretonnia is only bested by one other empire, and we can all guess which one that is. That's right, the Empire. While both these embodiments of governance are made completely of man, neither can truly call one or the other enemy nor ally. Mostly because of these giant differences of politics, faith, and culture that keep these great societies alien to one another. If you don't believe me, just ask Marienburg when the Empire pushed out the Bretonians. It's said that the vast majority of Bretonnia is the fairest and most beautiful of all lands. From its green land of fertile farms, rolling meadows, and enchanting forests, it's no wonder that such a people truly feel blessed by a god. However, it wasn't always this way. The religion surrounding Bretonnia, or the cult, is said to have come about in the most peculiar of ways. When Giles Le Breton bore the burden of unifying the Kingdom of Bretonnia, it is said the Lady of the Lake presented herself, stretched out her hand to aid Giles Le Breton in this very venture. This gesture of purity, light, and order would be what was needed to unify the Kingdom of Bretonnia and repel a mighty greenskin invasion from the southern mountains. With this great feat accomplished in the year 978 Imperial Calendar, Bretonnia would crown their first monarch, Giles Le Breton. And with him would the faith of the Lady of the Lake be proclaimed, albeit only for the nobility, leaving the peasantry to kind of, worship the lesser gods of, Sigmar. We brought up this time, 978 Imperial Calendar year, which is really accurate to the Empire. However, it's important to note that the Bretonnian calendar is offset from the Sigmarian calendar by 977 years. This is because the people of Bretonnia were never unified up until this point. So with the founding of the Lady of the Lake, there would come 7 commandments and the rules of honor, right? I think that doesn't surprise anybody. This Bretonnian code of chivalry requires that every knight must follow 7 commandments. These commandments are an integral part of Bretonnian society and governance, and are often used to dictate the actions of Bretonnian nobles. The first commandment: serve the Lady of the Lake. The second: defend the domains entrusted to him. To protect the weak and fight for the right would be number 3. Always to fight the enemy of virtue and order is number 4. Number 5 is to never give up the fight until the foe be defeated. Number 6, never break faith with friend or ally unless they're the Empire. That part's not in there. And number 7, always to display honor and courtesy. So much like general orders compared to commandments, but you can't go wrong with that. And then of course it wouldn't be Bretonnia if there weren't more rules to complement the rules. The rules of honor. Apart from the commandments of chivalry, there are certain traditional rules of honor which are adhered to and respected by all knights. These rules are an important part of the code of chivalry. They date back to the very origins of knighthood in Bretonnia and mark out Bretonnian knights as distinct from those other realms. The most important rules can be summarized as follows. A knight may only fight hand to hand with a sword or lance, and he may not use missile weapons. A knight shall always accept a challenge towards personal combat. A knight shall not draw sword against his fellow Bretonnian knights except in trial by combat or within a tournament. A knight shall not allow himself to be captured alive. And finally, a knight shall not flee from the enemy, nor retreat without proper tactical cause. Pretty self-explanatory. Don't give up and don't use bows. With their ballistic skill being abysmal, they probably should stay away from that anyways. After discussing these fine commandments and moral codes, I believe it's befitting to talk about the cult of the Lady of the Lake. The Lady of the Lake, the patron goddess of purity, nobility, and courage in the face of danger. She is considered to be the pinnacle of womanhood and romanticized as one fair lady that every knight will aspire to love. This cult of the Lady of the Lake is considered by nobility to be the very heart that beats within the core of Bretonnia, as well as the soul of her lands. To safeguard this ideology, the Grail Knights are put as her protector, making sure that no evil or sacrilege may come in contact with their lady. With these Grail Knights, there would be stone fortresses built upon religious sites, a bulwark to the forces of evil from their holy land, and occasionally, these Holy Grail chapels are said to be developed into what's considered an Abbey of the Grail. It's not uncommon for these Abbeys of the Grail to house such women known as Demoiselles du Grail, in these abbeys devoting their very life to the lady. With all this beauty and moral code, the nobility of the Bretonnians believe that others to be jealous of their lands and people. However, some jealousy may be implied. It is mostly the division of the two classes that will throw off an outsider. On the one hand, you see you'll have a knight slaying monsters, saving the damsel, and upholding the very principles that Bretonnia was founded upon in the face of utter adversity. On the other hand, you'll have the life of a peasant, ground down into nothingness. These peasants are known to suffer from inbreeding and harsher lifestyles and said to be but a shade in the presence of the knights, and often in combat offer little to no more than a meat sack when it comes to being able to fight. This poor treatment of the lower castes is what the Empire and other races scrutinize Bretonnian people for. Though the treatment is poor, they will still muster and prepare for war to defend their beloved land and people. When the knights and the peasantry form up together, it is said that there is no army that can be more vast or numerous than that of the Bretonnian people, to which makes Bretonnia one of the largest competitors in the old world. Thank you all for bearing with me throughout this video. I'm sorry if it's a bit different tone from my other ones. It's just this one, I was legit falling asleep editing it. So I was like, if it's boring for me and I freaking recorded it, it's going to be boring for you. So hopefully I spruced it up a bit. Brought a little life into the Bretonnians. Last little bit, if you're catching this before it's 11 o'clock on Friday, Central Standard Time, I will be live streaming because GW is going to be talking about some of the future projects going forward with the old world and other gaming systems. So I'd like to live stream that with everybody. I will start at 10:40 Central Standard. We can kind of meet up, talk shop, get together, and then work out any kinks so that way when GW starts their thing, we are ready to rock and roll. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Don't work too hard. Enjoy your day. I'll see you on Monday for a lore video, and then we're going to do the Bretonnian army breakdown on Tuesday. Thank you very much for your time, and peace.